Grayson, a spectacular question was posed on Reddit, on the horror Reddit the other day, and I had to bring it to you because I had great thoughts about it.
Okay.
Somebody asked the question, will we get another I See Dead People in our lifetime?
Okay.
And then there was a sub-question where we'll address later that was, what is an alternative or another I See Dead People moment for you? So there's a couple of things I'd like to propose to you and get your thoughts on. I'll give mine first because I've already thought about all this. I would say that I See Dead People is probably the biggest moment in horror as far as line delivery and what it meant for the people who saw it. And here's why. I would say that The Sixth Sense, at least in our lifetime for our generation, is the movie that your aunt and uncle saw, that your cousin knows about, that your non-horror fans saw.
Yeah.
And the line, the delivery, Bruce's reaction, what it meant for the plot of the movie.
Okay.
And how it's, of course, The Sixth Sense, when it came out, we're saying Haley Joel Osment's character, he is telling Bruce Willis, who is dead, that he sees ghosts. When it came out, again, you're anomalic, I would say, in that you figured it out or something.
No, I didn't figure this one out.
Okay.
Like, I was just as shocked about this film.
Perfect. So we were all shocked. And the reason we were shocked is it wasn't just, I can't believe it. It was, how did I not notice?
Yeah.
Because The Sixth Sense also does the little reveals. Like his doorknob is blocked. He's sitting in the room with the mom, but it doesn't mean that they were talking.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think desperately about another moment. And I See Dead People that was referenced as much as it was. Everybody quoted it all the time. In the Reddit, there were some replies that suggested the ending of Saw
That's a good one.
Could have been good.
Yeah.
And another one was the ending of The Mist.
That's another good one.
But and there are more, and I'd like to get your thoughts on what some are. But automatically, I would already argue, nope, not as big pop culture-wise for general. Was The Mist, it was almost more devastating to me than The Sixth Sense. But did it transcend a moment in our generation?
I don't think so. Because the thing with The Mist, it's sad, but it's true. A lot of people hate that movie.
Yeah, and a lot of people haven't seen it.
Exactly. So they kind of like pass over it. I think The Mist is fantastic. I love that film.
Yeah. But off the top of your head, do you have any, I know I'm just splurging on it, and I wanted to do it this way just for fun so we could talk it out. All right, so
I have two scenes.
All right, what do you have?
I have Scream with the ending with you finding out that it's Billy and Stu.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Yeah, we all go a little mad sometimes.
And then the follow-up.
And it's not exactly like, even if you don't go off of line reading, that's fine.
Yeah.
But just of the impact of that scene with what the movie is.
Okay.
Like, I think that is another big, oh my God.
You mean a reveal and how
it... Because in The Sixth Sense, like, that's a big reveal that he's able to do that and the reaction that Bruce Willis gives to him from that. And it plays into more stuff later on in the film.
Power of the line makes it rewatchable.
It does, because it makes you look at things more whenever you see what the ending is to The Sixth Sense.
And I would say Scream does that for the rewatchability of, Scream as well. Okay.
And then I would go for The Ring. I think that the 7 days from the phone call, from what the tape does, and the ending of The Ring hits just as hard.
Okay.
Because the ending of The Ring, whenever you have the boyfriend that's trying to help the whole time.
Okay.
And then you have, is it Samara? Is that her name? Coming out of the TV at him. Both of those scenes right there. And 7 days.
You mean like the line of 7 days?
Yes, that also hits me just as hard.
A lot of people.
Because it was referenced, it became pop culture, it was huge. Everybody was watching The Ring. I mean, it got parodied in Scary Movie 3.
Yeah.
Like, the main part of Scary Movie 3 is about The Ring. So I think that The Ring, I hold The Ring and The Sixth Sense pretty much at the same standard because of what they did for horror at that time. They were titans for the horror genre at that moment.
Would you say that Shyamalan's The Village did the same thing, only like in a bad way?
Yeah, I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen in that. So yeah, I would give him that. But M. Night does a lot of stuff like that, even in The Visit. For what the big twist is in The Visit.
Yeah,
like,
which The Visit makes a lot of good sense.
It does.
I was trying
he does that a lot.
I was trying to think back to like the 70s, and I was like, is there a line from The Calls Coming from Inside the House?
That's a good one.
Of course, I wasn't alive, so I can't tell you.
Well, the 80s, whenever you hop into the 80s, you have April Fool's Day. The ending to that is incredible because it's all a joke. None of it's real.
I haven't watched that since North Texas Video.
And whenever you're watching this film, it's a stereotypical slasher, and you get all the way to the ending, and she's about to come kill him, and then she puts the knife in her hand, and it's fake. So that's a big one. Mrs. Voorhees being the killer in Friday the 13th. Freaking Norman Bates in Psycho.
Yeah, that I would say. I think Psycho is great, and
we all got a little mad sometimes.
I'm very glad you brought that up because I wonder if I think the reason why The Sixth Sense is the mecca is because timing with the internet, of course, and like you said, scary movie. Obviously, scary movie reference. I See Dead People as well.
Yeah.
But I think that We All Go a Little Mad Sometimes is awesome because, like The Sixth Sense, that line is great, and then it reinforces, the twist ending. I wonder if in the 60s people were saying that to each other the way they said, I see dead people.
Probably. You have to think that when Psycho came out, there weren't many films like Psycho. You had Peeping Tom, and there were some other films out there like that. But that was a different experience for people at that time. Like, they didn't know that. It's just like Night of the Living Dead when that came out. Nobody had a clue what they were walking into when they saw that film.
I gotcha. But yeah, I'm just trying to key off. I really want to key off the line, right?
I think then, we definitely stick with Psycho. We All Got a Little Mad Sometimes. You got, I think 7 Days is still on the same level of I See Dead People.
Okay.
I really do. And just for what it stands for in the movie, it's legit. You watch a videotape, you have 7 days to live.
Yeah. And then people just on the internet being like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
Yeah.
Was there anything from the Blair Witch that there was a line because that's the only other movie
I'm so scared right now when she's looking at the camera.
Yeah, that was very parodied. I might have been too young to like hear people around me say it a lot.
I think just the Blair Witch in general is just a whole movie because they made it seem like it was real the whole time.
What about slashers? I can't think of any slashers off the top of my head that had a line.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Voorhees. Whenever she
Sure.
first shows up, like that's the most iconic. Besides,
I'm Mrs. Voorhees. I'm Jason's mother. Yeah.
I'm a friend of the Christies.
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
the first thing that she says, I do believe.
But yeah, I was
Silver Bullet. Well, that's more of a shock than anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, that's not really a line as much as it is just seeing the eye patch, and I think that's what.
And it's like my aunt, she would know. So she wouldn't know Silver Bullet, right? She would know I See Dead People, right? Like if you asked a general public.
So Saw is a big one because you had one every October.
But that first twist is obviously the best.
It is.
And the biggest.
Oh, it is.
But I think, like I said with Saw, I don't think Saw had the pop culture impact.
No.
I
mean, it was big. It got parodied too, but it's not as, I want to play a game or want to play a game.
I want to play a game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm digging deep because I'm trying to think of stuff from the 70s.
Yeah. But it's almost like the deeper you dig, the further away you're getting. I think I'm trying to think of is there another obvious.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat? I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Jaws, that's a huge one.
Give me highest grossing horror movies of all time. Let's take a look and let's see if we can pull anything. Because I think you're going to need a bigger boat is probably good. A good line. Let's see. Highest grossing horror movies of all time. There you go. Let's take a look.
Wikipedia, so it.
Anything from it that would.
The opening. Hiya, Georgie.
Yeah, We All Float.
Yeah.
That's okay. Chapter 2.
Legend.
Was there anything from The Exorcist? Any definitive? Obviously, there's moments, right? Was there any line from The Exorcist besides "F me, F me"?
And your mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the power of Christ compels you.
Power of Christ compels you. Yeah. Signs did gangbusters.
Yeah, Signs did really good.
See, the
Swing
Sixth,
Away.
I was like, where's the Sixth Sense? It's number 2. So
Yeah.
Conjuring, Quiet Place. Shh, you could do shh.
Or the clap.
Yeah.
From
That's
The
a good
Conjuring.
moment. Yeah.
It does come down to you have to think of, are they talking about scenes or are they talking about lines at that
I think it's just a line that impacted the success and quality of the movie, right? Hello,
Sounds like-
Clarice
yep.
is pretty good.
That's huge.
But yeah, Get Out. I voted for Obama. That's a good line. Do you remember?
I would have voted for him a third time if I could have. Yeah.
That shit was so funny.
I mean, it's so hard because there's so many horror movies to go through.
Yeah.
And thinking of iconic lines or something that is hit as hard as I See Dead People gets hard because you have to roll through everything.
Yeah. And
So-
honestly, the box office kind of tells you too,
It,
right?
It does, but you also have those horror movies that'll do bad in box office and make it onto, cult favorites.
Yeah, if there's any like DVD sales.
Groovy.
Groovy's pretty, yeah.
With Ash, that's huge. This Is My Boomstick.
Yeah. This Is My Boomstick is good.
Ash Williams has a bunch.
Yeah. And again, I don't think your aunt is like, this is my boomstick. I don't think she's going to know where it comes from.
But Groovy, maybe. Because Groovy is just such a huge line that's used.
Yeah, but they probably said groovy because they were saying it in the 70s
Also
dancing to
true.
disco. But yeah, I
You're
think
going
that's
to need
pretty.
a bigger boat than I think is in that as well.
Yeah, I think it's like how many people in the 70s and 80s said that every time they stepped onto their friends,
Yeah.
their friend's fishing boat.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Aliens will be a big one.
Yeah, there's no lines from the first Alien movie, is there? That I couldn't think of any. But
They have to be there, but I don't think they'll be as iconic as that
yeah,
because of it's Aliens.
yeah.
It's the best Alien
Yeah,
movie.
Get Away from Her, You Bitch is the line
Yeah.
from the Alien film. So, I'll be back.
Yeah, if you count Terminator as a horror movie, then yes. Terminator 1, yes.
Yeah.
T2, it gets on the line because it's
Yeah.
like sci-fi action.
But I wonder if you asked a rando non-Terminator film
Or
fan, excuse me,
Yeah.
if you asked them what movie did Arnold, I bet you they would be able to say, if you said I'll be back, they'd go Arnold.
Yeah,
But if you asked what movie it was from, I wonder if they would know.
I think they could because
Would they say Terminator 1? Would they know it was from? Would they know it was from the police station scene the way they know?
No.
Yeah,
I don't think they would know that. I think they would be able to say Terminator.
For sure, yeah.
Because Terminator's made it over to video games.
Yeah.
Showing up in Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
I think that's a good one, but I don't think they would remember it the way they know that I See Dead People is when Haley Joel
Yeah.
Osment is in his hospital bed.
I think they would be able to say Terminator.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'll be back. It's still a tough one. Yeah, I don't know.
I think It is a big one because if you take It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and you put them together, it made $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
and
think
we're
if
kind
you
of
say
looking.
we all float down here, I think anybody would say Pennywise.
Yeah, maybe, especially now. And I wonder.
Or Hiya, Georgie.
Yeah.
Either one of those. I think you could say that to somebody and they would know it's Pennywise.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. I think this is kind of indeterminable, right? Because it's like, I don't know how many young and old people saw it. And if, like, I don't know if The Sixth Sense has survived or, like, what age range the generations would not be able to tell you.
Yeah, I think with It, you kind of hit two groups. You hit the Stephen King fans who love the book, and you also hit the Stephen King fans and kids that watch the original series that come in to watch it again.
And adults that watch
Yes,
the miniseries.
100%.
So I wonder if it's a bigger spread.
Yeah.
Since, like, if they remade The Sixth Sense and it was just as effective, that would obviously give us another generation of teenagers, now 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
That would know we all float down here. But maybe the floating quote with that really, I'm sure that arm rip from the original It traumatized people the way that, The Sixth Sense traumatized kids our age,
Yeah, I think that it is, if you take one from each decade, it just gets kind of hard. Because with Psycho, you have, you have Jaws, then you have...
I think you're nailing it, though. I think that Jaws, I think Psycho, I think...
Silence of the Lambs.
I think The Sixth Sense and maybe It.
But with Silence of the Lambs, it gets difficult because you have to... Is it Why Hello Clarice, or is it I Ate His...
Liver with the fava beans and a Chianti, which he mispronounces, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think... but I think this Reddit question was really nice because it was like, we are hitting generational.
Yeah.
And so it is like in order. You got Psycho, then you got Jaws, then you get maybe Hello Clarice.
I think you put The Exorcist in there just for the power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
I think with what The Exorcist was at the time, I don't think there's many people that grew up at that time that didn't know about it, and especially now, because the Exorcist is like almost
Mecca.
it is. It's basically the scariest film ever made.
Yeah.
Like it's horrifying.
So yeah, maybe Exorcist. So I do think this question is right because it is a generational thing that happens. Maybe every 15 to 20
Even
years.
10. Like if you think about every 10 years talking to people about it, like I'm at the point now where talking to horror movie fans is interesting because a lot of people's cutoff points now is the 90s. Yeah. So they'll go back to the 90s and watch that stuff, unless you have like diehard horror fans like us. Like anybody who was born in the late 80s and growing up, you're going to have a love.
And our taste is getting older.
It is.
Because we're still exploring, right?
I'll watch more 80s horror than a lot of other things because I just find them interesting. But I'll watch any horror movie from any time because I just love horror in general. But for the general public, it is an interesting question to ask them that just to see, okay, when did you get into horror and where is your area of horror?
And we'll ask the comments to wrap this. Like, I think if we just narrow, let's just do a binary question. Do you guys think that we all float down here, or Pennywise talking about you floating is as impactful as I see dead people? And we might be a little biased because of our age.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a lot of other 30-year-olds watching. So let us know in the comments below. Any final thoughts before we wrap this?
No, I really love that question, and getting stuff like this is really cool just so I can make my brain just go through the Rolodex of horror movies to see what exactly I do think. I think that question can be followed up with another one of, iconic scenes for later on for us to go into. Like, what's the most iconic scene in horror?
Yeah, or what's the most traumatizing scene in horror? I guess that's very subjective.
I think both of those are insanely good videos that we will definitely have. So.
Maybe a new direction for the channel, straight from Reddit. I don't want to say the user's name, but it's a very insightful question.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to hear what y'all have in the comments. So make sure to comment down there because I will be reading them.
Yep. Make sure to go to patreon.com/hangtime, which is our parent company, and it supports all horror content here on Carnage Candy. Make sure and like the video, and once again, tell us what you think is one of the most iconic lines for its time, a generational horror line, so to speak. And you guys have an awesome day.
Goodbye.
Easy. Killer.